could say, who am I playing week 1, and see who goes in the portal from them and take them, and then know what they're going to do against us. Let's do once a year, whatever's best. If it's April, if it's December, the guys had to make a decision. Do I play with my team in the college football playoff, or do I go into the playoffs? So,
college football playoff, timing of the transfer portal window being in there was weird.
This is a Jonte Cook situation. The transfer portal technically isn't even open for college football, but it's already getting wild. We already have someone who's transferred in the last portal and has already transferred or into the transfer portal again, and the transfer portal is not even open. So this is a lot of nastiness. We're going to go over that. More importantly, Pat McAfee had Matt Rule on the show most recently when he's down about the combine, and he kind of talked a little bit and alluded to some of the issues with transfer portal. So we're going to get into that, listen to those, and then kind of break down where we sit for the transfer portal right now before it even really opens up, man. So I really appreciate the support on the videos. I appreciate y'all watching, supporting, doing all the good stuff, man. Like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't like it. If you enjoy college football content in general, all different types of stuff. We're in the off season, so we're doing different things, man. Like the video, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Let's hop right into it. I got to get my mark here.
Coach, you are in the news recently, you in Texas, for the spring game, whether you guys are going to do the spring game or not. So I got to ask you about that. Was it because other teams looking at the film of your spring game, guys not getting enough time in the spring game, so they want to transfer in that spring portal window? What was the thinking behind the spring game? I don't know if the announcement's been made or what has been happening with your spring game, but you was definitely in the news for the maybe not playing the spring game this year.
Yeah, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, I was kind of the first guy that said it.
Yes,
took a little bit of heat, and then all of a sudden,
you and then Sark,
everybody starts coming in behind. Hey, that's a good idea. So, I think it was two things. Last year we had our spring game. Big Ten Network, everyone's watching. It's re-aired, and all of a sudden, I got a line outside my door on Monday. Hey, Coach so-and-so called me from here, so-and-so called me from there. So, what advantage is it for me?
Sure.
I love our fans, and we're going to do something for the fans. But what's the advantage of showing all my young talent and letting other coaches come in and try to tamper with them? And to be quite honest, and this, I'm not a perfect guy. I sat there watching the FCS playoffs, watching those great teams at Montana State, and some kid makes a play, and I'm like, who is that guy?
So his quarterback in Iowa. Bring him in.
So I'm like, why would I put my guys out there? I mean, I want my guys to be taken care of, but that's a tough time. April, May, man, we got to get ready for the season. So we'll make some changes.
The two portals is crazy, and I'm experiencing this right now with Rich Rod going back to West Virginia, because these guys come in the first portal, then they get a spring with Rich now, right? Now they get a spring with, hey, it's going to be run a little bit different, I think, than what it had been being run like around here for a little bit. And then right after spring, you're only a couple months out from the season, guys can hit again, and it's like, that needs to be. What is your thoughts? How do we fix this? One portal time, one transfer window?
One portal. Think about it. Basketball has one portal. So why would basketball have one and we have two? It's because our season is different. I get it. But whether it's in January, December, or
April, just keep the April one.
Yeah, but
then you're a couple months out. Yeah,
I mean, how many people leave in April and have a lot of success 2 months later? Yeah. Like, I literally could, if I wanted to, I could say, who am I playing week 1, and see who goes in the portal from them and take them, and then know what they're going to do against us. So, but I'm with you. Whatever's best for the student athlete. But I think we should pick one. I don't want to negotiate a contract with a guy in December and then renegotiate again in April. Like, you sign up with us, you should sign up for the year. Coaches sign up for the year. And so let's do once a year, whatever's best. If it's April, if it's December. I will say this. I thought it was terrible for the young men. Not just for the teams, but for the young men. The guys had to make a decision. Do I play with my team in the college football playoff, or do I go in the playoffs, or go in the portal, because that's what's best for me? So I think one portal window would be way better.
Hey, that college football playoff, timing of the transfer portal window being in there was weird, and then some schools were letting their guys be in the portal and then also on the team. Some places weren't available. That was a weird scene popping out there, because, whenever people stopped playing in the bowl games, it was like we're going to go to the Toto toilet bowl out here. Guys not playing because you don't want to get hurt. College football playoff game, it's like there was conversations of people not playing in it. It's like, come on, man. This is what we're here for.
No doubt.
It's literally what the entire year is all about. You and I think anybody that watches college ball, excited that the players are getting compensated. But there's a ruling coming, right, that's supposed to put some guardrails on it. Have you heard anything about that? And how do you think that, how many years until we get this thing kind of straighten out, because you are old college football guy, you know, who's been around a long time, and also professional guy who's been around the professional operation, which I think is good for you, especially how Bill and Lombardi feel going back to North Carolina. They feel like having the NFL experience is a good thing, not a bad thing. I assume you feel the same way. But how many years do you think until there is some sort of like what the hell's going on?
I think this winter is the first time that I feel like, you know what, we might get a handle on this. I think Commissioner Sankey in the SEC, Tony Petitti at the Big Ten, who obviously comes and talks to us. I want the players to be taken care of. What I don't want is guys playing at 4 colleges in 4 years. Because, hey, I'm the highest bidder. Now I'm the highest bidder. The one thing in football is the desperate team sets the market. And so if a desperate team comes in and they're trying to steal you away from me and, hey, I'll give you $100,000 more, but it's not a good situation, like there has to be some guardrails. And I think we're starting to figure out we're on the precipice of it being the right, where, hey, we can sign some contracts, multi-year deals maybe, but if you do want to leave, like a coach leaves, they pay a buyout. Maybe there's a buyout. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'm feeling better that it might happen.
Big Ten kind of running shit.
Oh, yeah.
Mad Mel.
I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear the Big Ten propaganda, but really good point here. I really think that was a really good point. And some of the things that he was alluding to, or Matt Rule was alluding to, not only with the cancellation of the portal, but also the tampering and how it constantly happens. I would argue against the reason for it being tampering, why you want to cancel the portal, because like Dabo Sweeney, which we're going to listen to, argues as well, because he's not canceling his spring game. He thinks, look, it's going to happen regardless, and I agree too, but let's hear it.
We're having discussions about canceling.
No, we're going to have a spring game, and I hope we can have some type of fan day with it as well. I hope. I don't know. We'll see. But listen, it don't, whether you have a spring game or not, it's going to be tampering. Ain't nobody going to go look at the spring game and go, oh, yeah, boy, they got PFF. That's called PFF. They got everything on everybody already. So
they got everything on everybody already.
Canceling the spring game ain't going to stop tampering.
Yeah, and for a man who, I probably wouldn't trust his transfer portal knowledge, I think he's dead on that. So let's get deeper into the modern transfer portal and where we sit here on March, was it March 6th, March 7th when this video comes out? As of right now, so this is how it's supposed to be breaking down, right? The men's football FBS transfer portal, the first day is the 9th to December 9th to just Saturday. Wow, get it out. Saturday, December 28th, 2024. And then we go into the dead period. And then the spring window for football starts on April 16th, 2025. Now, I do want to point out that there is a little caveat that there are grad transfers that can enter the transfer portal at any time, but this one in particular is a little crazy. Then we'll go into some bigger names in the transfer portal. Oklahoma State linebacker Demarick Morris has entered the transfer portal as a grad transfer, and he had transferred to the Cowboys in December from Temple and has 42 career tackles and 6 tackles for a loss. Straight up Jaden Rashada. Actually, a little better. No, worse than Jaden Rashada. You know what I'm saying? You have a double transfer who can't find a home in the portal, but then he finds a home in the portal and then is back in the portal before the spring portal even opens up. This is a Jonte Cook situation, right? He gets to Washington after getting kicked off the team from Texas. He's in Washington for 2 weeks and on campus for 2 days, and they're like, nah, man, get out of here. They either kicked him out or he was done. Now he's getting arrested every 2 weeks, so you know how that story is. But hopefully he doesn't do the arrested part. But this is crazy. This is the problems that we're talking about when we talk about the transfer portal. I love the portal. I think it's great. I think you should be allowed to have a bit of freedom. But homeboy wasn't in the this was his, and I'm sure he's updated it. This is what his profile looked like. I took these pictures a while ago. You know what I'm saying? I was building the case. You know what I mean? And there he is retweeting that he transferred out. Defensive tackle, you know what I'm saying? He was making sure people knew. He still had the Oklahoma State. This was within the same day that he announced the transfer portal. He was out there tweeting, make sure everything was cool. You know what I mean? Make sure his tape was out there. So he's a Temple linebacker. I was so confused when I was reading this. I was like, Oklahoma State linebacker. You know, I keep up with some of the Big 12-ish, those type of bigger names. I'm like, oh, a Big 12 guy. Okay. XYZ, Oklahoma State guy. No, he's not an Oklahoma State guy. He hasn't played it down for Oklahoma State. All he got is recruitment pictures, dog. Like at some point, like Matt Rule says, like I don't oblige by all these old heads in their opinions, but man, oh man, like sign a deal and let's lock in for a year. How do you expect to go from Temple then to Oklahoma for a few months and then jump to another place and then hope that everything's cool, crispy, and then you're gonna start? Why? Dog, you were at Temple and then couldn't make it at Oklahoma State. I don't know. And here's my other rebuttal there. I hope that it's not a bad thing or like some negative thing that he got there, because I do want it to there should be an ability for players to leave in a messed up situation. But the portal's not even open yet and he left. So I don't understand, dog. I don't know, man. But hey, I think he's a grad transfer. Hope he's a grad transfer. Going deeper onto a few different things because there's some legislation updated for the grad transfers, and here it is in detail, including changes to the NCAA transfer legislation a week ago, and this was last year in 2024, and this is when they really opened the floodgates of transfer portal. They need to enter the transfer portal before the respective sport's final transfer portal window. The legislation passed this week allows all undergraduate athletes to transfer and play immediately as long as they meet specific academic requirements. Previously, if an underclassman wished to transfer a second time, this was the double transfer, this is why they can hop around so much, the athlete needed the NCAA to grant a waiver to compete immediately. Absent an approved waiver, the athlete had to sit out a year. They just like the old days of the transfer portal. The legislation, or I guess it's a transfer, does not limit the number of times an athlete can transfer. Portal windows still exist. The NCAA sent out memos to instructions twice this year saying that the multi-time transfers could play immediately in 2024 2025 without securing a waiver. Similar to the current bylaws, athletes would not be able to transfer mid-year and play for a new school in the same athletic season. This means when the college football portal window closes on the 30th, it will be the last time grad transfers can enter before next December. The same goes for college football. So really what you're saying, this is them flexing their muscles because they're about to shut off the grad transfer thing. Grad transfers had the advantage to transfer at any time. Now they're saying, hey, we're going to let everybody transfer as many times and play as much, but grad transfers, nah, man. Student athletes who plan to enroll as graduate students as their next school can enter the portal at the same time during the academic year, but must enter the portal prior to the conclusion of their respective sports final transfer window. The NCAA wrote in the press release. News of the news portal legislation is not surprised. The NCAA agreed to a preliminary injunction in the Northern District of West Virginia District Court in December. The U.S. Department of Justice signed on the lawsuit. Along with Minnesota, Mississippi, Virginia, and the District of Columbia. According to the federal lawsuit, the NCAA rules unjustifiably restrains the ability of these college athletes to engage in the market for their labors as NCAA Division I college athletes. The complaint states by making it daunting to transfer twice, the rule also denies athletes educational opportunities per Department of Justice release. And this is addressing the overall rule of, hey, let them transfer twice and immediately start playing, immediately start getting after it. So that's interesting to think about. Just some stuff that's going to be changing, and things are going to keep changing, just kind of like you alluded to the NIL rules that are changing as well. Matt ruled that, in the Pat McAfee part. There is so much happening at such a fast time, and with so many different states and laws and this and that. Like, it's just it's a maze out there right now when it comes to the transfer portal, when it comes to NIL, because obviously the NIL is the driver of the transfer portal. So it's a whole wacky situation. So let's talk about the actual transfer portal, who's in it and who's kind of entered within these few days of it not being open. So starting February 25th, we have a starting cornerback for Tennessee, a college football playoff competitor. So for me, it's like, and I get that there's money involved, XYZ, but it's like, what else do you have to do as a team? You're in the SEC, you're competing, you're in the playoffs, right? You were almost being able to compete for SEC championship. I don't know how did Tennessee get to the playoffs? I don't know how they let them in the playoffs. Anyway, you're competing, you're doing these things. You're in a bit of a revival of Tennessee. Tennessee hasn't been playing this good football in a second, right? So, in that, like, it just doesn't mean anything. So, I'm not one of these old folks that say, "Oh, the transfer portal is terrible, it's bad, it's whatever." But there does need to be, you know what I'm saying? Like, the pendulum's going to swing in both ways, right? We have to look at the consequences of the decision of allowing the transfer portal to be so open. And that is at the point where someone who, and I really hope these are transfers because of, family because of a lot of the positive things that we wanted them to be able to transfer for. Hey man, a situation got messed up. Hey, a family thing. Hey, whatever. I'm really hoping that. I'm really hoping these are anomalies of situations, but it's hard when there are so many situations. We started with the multi-transfer guy, but he's just transferring from a high-level team who seemed to have a bit of potential, and then another high-level transfer. When you have Oregon offensive tackle has officially entered the transfer portal. Again, a team competing for chips, a team that was close to making it to the promised land, and he's up out of there. And he's up out of there within out of the time limit of the transfer portal. And then another one, obviously UTEP. I don't know how many people care about a UTEP safety entering the transfer portal, but there he is, Dylan Williams. He plans to enter the transfer portal, plus 34 tackles and 22 interceptions. And just a quick little update on some of the other people entering. And this was just as of March 3rd, so what is it? 2 days of the recording. There's people hopping in the portal. That's just a little recap there. As of 4 days ago, just recording this, you have a Georgia State running back. So interesting. Two, because we know Mr. Sivion Wilkerson entered the transfer portal, and he was claiming that he had some nasty NIL stuff. So we probably might have to do a follow up on that, because now his teammate is also transferring too. So I have to allude or I have to assume that has something to do with that. And I think February 27th as well, offensive tackle from Duke, another Georgia State player. So we'll have to put this together, because I think it's looking a little nasty. Because you know how Sivian said, and then there's already people committing to teams as well. You got Penn State edge again, another guy. I'm not sure if he was a starter though. And crazy enough, he's already found a place too. He's with Oklahoma State. Lots of nastiness happening. A lot of nastiness, but also I'm really hoping that everything is as positive as possible, because it seems like from anonymous staffers and agents, there's a lot of tampering happening, and I think we all knew that. I think tampering in the NIL era, the transfer portal, double transfer portal era of college football has to be, one of the worst kept secrets, maybe even comparative to back when Barry Bonds was hitting 8 trillion home runs and he was goddamn yoked up. We know what's happening right now, right? We know that people are covering it, because Matt Rule is comfortable enough to talk about it in an open period like that, or a big show like Pat McAfee. He's openly said, "Hey, it's tampering." Steve Sarkisian also canceling his transport. Canceling his spring game. Hey, man, people are snatching up my players. We saw what happened to Deion Sanders in Colorado. That was the big thing for y'all to talk about last season, right? And how crazy it was. But to leave out the fact that it's happening everywhere, and now it's happening before the portal even opens. There's some nasty stuff going on. And it says, I don't know anybody that doesn't tamper. Group of 5 teams are doing it on Group of 5 teams are doing it on shitty Group of 5 teams. Okay. If you're not tampering, you're putting your program and university at a disadvantage to win games. And here is a little excerpt there from the article. I was trying to like the article. It's a pay article. I ain't trying to, you know what I mean? It's all right. We're going to read this little excerpt though, because trust me, I don't need that much information about something that we know what's happening. I'm already getting text messages. When you pull up the ESPN and get the stat line, I probably get 10 to 15 of those a day. And it's just like, do you guys have any interest in this kid? Hey, this kid will get in the spring portal. What would you pay them? Agents are just shopping. They're hustling. It's become part of the nature of college football at this point. If you're not reaching out to agents, getting an idea of who they are, who might be moving, who they've been talking to, then you're not probably doing your job right now. So this alludes to the issue when I talk about and I know a lot of people kind of synonymously almost talk about the transfer portal in the NIL, especially in this modern era, because the NIL is NIL deals or deals is what fuels people leaving and fuels mostly people transferring and having these decisions, right? And I think it was really interesting because we've had this conversation multiple times whenever we heard some of those NIL lawyers. Go back and check out those videos. We've done those on the Pat McAfee videos on him having the show. So shout out to Pat McAfee. He really does have a lot of people who kind of stand for the old style of college football, I'll say, which can be a negative thing and a positive thing for some aspect. But it really, that thing that he was talking about, hey, they're shopping players around. We've heard that a lot. That's been a consensus from Deion Sanders to the people who were on Pat McAfee show, to Matt Rule, to that excerpt, where it's almost like, if you know what it is, wholesale real estate, right? You just send out, hey, you sell this house. Well, I could buy this house, and then you get a number, and then you go to someone who wants to buy a house. It's like, hey, I got this house for, do you want to buy a house? Like it's a middleman to the middlemaneth degree. You're just creating your own supply. You're out there telling these kids, these 18 to 20-year-old kids, hey man, I got a deal right now for $200,000. I know you got a deal for $190,000, but $200,000, get on the portal right now, get out there. It's crazy, man. And it's gonna leave a lot of these kids stranded, a lot of these kids in bad places, a lot of these kids in bad spots. So I don't want to see it. I hope it doesn't go down like that. But this is just the beginning of the transfer portal. Hasn't even opened up, man. Y'all be on the lookout for a lot more crazy stories about the transfer portal, a lot more crazy stories about NIL. I got a big time story about a high schooler doing NIL. Y'all let me know if you want to see that video. That video is ready. So y'all let me know. I can drop it on you. But man, I really appreciate the support on the videos. Like it if you like it. Dislike it if you don't like it. If there's any type of football content you want to see in this offseason, man, let me know. UFL? Yeah, no. Nobody wants to see that. But yeah, man, you'll be great. You know you're great. Just keep being great, man. I'll see you next time. Peace.